What is up, guys? Mad Rambles, episode 75 today. I'm a little bit sweaty because I've just been in the sauna. But whilst I was in the sauna, I had a little thought for today's video idea. Episode 75. We are 3/4 of the way in. Mad. Always mad to feel how fast these videos go. Sort of day by day. Each video done. Sort of putting out my opinions, viewpoints, and just what's going on in my brain in that particular day. It's interesting to see how I evolve and how I evolve just in talking and my comfortability with doing this. Still the things that I need to improve on, but I feel like I'm definitely getting more and more comfortable in doing these videos. So it's interesting to see where I'll be at in 170. But episode 75 today. Today's video will be about communication. The reason for that is because I feel like communication's an art. Everyone does it with everyone. No matter if it's a football coach with a player, no matter if it's a gym PT with their client, a teacher to their student, a mother to her son, a boyfriend to a girlfriend, you're always communicating. And people don't put enough importance on this. And they sort of gloss over it. And as a result, I see a lot of problems that occur purely because people just lack communication. They're unwilling to, their inability to, and their lack of desire to communicate their feelings, thoughts, and opinions clearly and concisely, which is one of the reasons why I want to do these videos, just so I can get better and more comfortable and find it easier to orate my viewpoints and opinions so that people can understand them. Because I notice for me, I think certain things, I try to learn different things, but then I realise my communication isn't the best. So it's something I need to work on. Analysing where your weaknesses and flaws are and attacking them ruthlessly till they become a strength. So that's part and parcel of what these videos are about. And that's done through communication, me communicating to this camera. It's in everyday life, we talk constantly. But people almost don't put enough emphasis on it. They think, oh, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, why don't you do the other? You know, people, you don't get me, why don't you teach me better, blah, 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 blah. And that's all because of a lack of communication or bad communication, which is as useful as a lack of communication. And people just don't know how to communicate. And people are unwilling to communicate a lot of the times. And I think, especially when you have relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, all the relationships that I've seen that thrive purely because they have a communication. And that's not to say you have to argue all the time. I don't think arguing is healthy either. I think you can respectfully discuss things in a calm manner, and shouting is probably never good. But at least you're communicating. You see so many parents and families where the parents just don't communicate, or the couple just don't communicate, and all of a sudden they break up. Well, that's because they have problems that have compounded and compounded and compounded, and they've just got worse and worse and worse because they haven't communicated them to their partner. And ultimately it's led to a rise and rise and rise until they explode and they break up. And all of that would have been solved if they just communicated and they just knew how to communicate. And I think, number one, do it in a calm, respectful manner. I think a lot of times we have a tendency to push our viewpoints on people and try to force them down people's throats. Be respectful. Just talk to them like a human being. Talk to them normally. The best way for people to understand you and to put your message onto someone isn't to shout it in their face, isn't to force it to them, isn't to almost give them an ultimatum, but carefully guide them through a story with which details how you came to a certain conclusion, and details clearly each point within a problem. Therefore, you can solve it together. And that is ultimately what leaves everlasting relationships, long-lasting relationships, people who have relationships into the 70s, 80s, people who have great relationships with their bosses, managers, and that's through communication. People need to understand how to communicate. And if you do have a problem, don't sit on it, communicate. And if you feel like you can't communicate with that said person, maybe talk to them about it. Maybe try help them to communicate. But that comes through communication, right? If they don't know how to communicate, you can't tell them what to do, but you can at least potentially teach them. And if they're unwilling to learn, then if it's something like a boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe they're not the right person for you. And I think that is part and parcel as well. What cultivates a high value man, a high value woman, is the ability to communicate your thoughts, feelings, and problems. Been a good call. I've been Keelan. Peace.